What's up, Gemini? Today we're going to be doing your next phase reading. We're going to see what you're being called to next. What does this look like for you? Your actions needed, and maybe you can get a little message from spirit from you. Already pre-shuffled the deck and cleanse the space, so we can go ahead and get started. All right. What is Gemini being called to next? Okay. Ooh. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. She has the Three of Pentacles, the Hermit card, Three of Wands, Ace of Cups, Four of Pentacles, and the Temperance card. Okay, Gemini. So right off the bat, when I had gotten the first three cards out, because there's still going to be one story, but for this, we're going to focus on these top cards for a second for the energy. At first, it looked like you were called for introspection. You're being called for introspection, but then with further energies, it looks like you're coming out of a phase of introspection, out of a phase of self-reflection, out of this like you are coming out of the hermit phase, if that makes sense. So if you guys have been like almost like in a brutish kind of mood these past few weeks or few months, or even in a state of where you just been heavily just like really considering the aspects of your life and what really serves you, what doesn't serve you, and what you want and what you don't want, you're coming out of that and you're starting to like want you're feeling now the call to move, whether that's just like in this movement. When I say move, it doesn't just necessarily mean like move your location, but like actually put energy and action into something. And so I feel like when you were in that introspection and in that mindset of just when you were just focusing on the inner world of yours, it's like now you're feeling that push to start making those changes on your external world. um it's deeper than manifestation. It's deeper than just thinking of like, oh, I want this for my life and I'm gonna make that. It's way deeper than that. It's like you have like it's like almost like a full self transformation. You're embarking on like a whole transformation of your a total self. So it's like your aspects, like even could be even a whole like 180 shift of personality. um Even the way your body is like it's like a very strong transitioning, very strong transforming, very strong of just like like transforming to something completely new. So like your next phase is really including like changing every little aspect of your life and self. But I see it's not as you're not doing it with, it's not like something you're doing without thought. It's like something you have put a lot of thought into, a lot of planning into, a lot of consideration into. So it's not something that's like where you're just like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna go to the gym. It's like, no, you have been putting this into plans. It's like, no, it's like tomorrow is the start of like your next 10-year plan, I feel like. It's you changing your style, it's you changing how you talk, it's you changing um how you approach things and how you think about things and even how you feel about things and people. It's and it's more since this it's almost like too you're coming into you have came into the realization of like who you truly are and who you truly need to be. And it's like you have that was like your main focus. It's like it's not you about you. It wasn't about you like, okay, like I don't like this about myself or I don't like that about this. It was more of just like, no, like who am I? You went on that journey of questioning yourself, like who am I? Who do I need to be? And like you took want out of the equation. Want was even in your vocabulary when you were doing this. It's like who do I need to be, and like just who am I? And so now you're coming into this phase where you're really putting into the steps and actions, and you're now really implementing the plan changes that you have already like thought about or planned out or even written about. You're now implementing that in this next phase. Okay. Okay. What does this next phase look like for Gemini? What does this next phase look like for Gemini? Okay. Okay. We're gonna reshuffle though. I'll just take the chunk, but the ones with face out, we'll take those. This deck in particular always just likes to just kind of throw up on me. My other decks never do that. It's just this deck. So I just have learned just to take it. Because before I would like, every time I would do it, I would just like reshuffle and kind of like give it a fresh start. But every time I would get the same cards, but just like in a longer process. So I just learned to take the throw ups as they are. Queen of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, Eight of Wands, and the Saddle side card. Yeah. So yeah, with this new phase and what this is going to look like for you, it's going to be very much. It's almost like you kind of taking on life fresh. It's like you're not bringing any of your past experiences into the mix. You're not bringing any of what you have experienced so far in life. You're not bringing that into your next phase of life, if that makes sense. Like you're not including any past experiences into your new experiences anymore. It's like you're addressing life now as a completely new one, which would make sense with like with how you are approaching this, even with how you're approaching how to transform yourself. And it's like you have already acknowledged and accepted that in order to finish this transformation, in order to really embody this transformation 100% and really authentically, you cannot allow the experiences of your past self influence the experiences of this new current self. Um, and so you're going to be very good at managing that, way better, like I feel like than most people would be able to do that. Because like again, it's always a struggle. Well, obviously not for you, but for most, it's a struggle sometimes to not bring up your past into your present or even into your future, because it's what's that saying? Like your past shapes the past shapes who you are. But for you, you're completely throwing that concept out the window and being like, no, my past is my past, but this is now. Um, and so that's something that you're really going to be easily to be able to maneuver. With this shadow side card though, it's not really noticing like your shadow side itself, but it is like it is hinting at a struggle point, and that struggle point, it just really has to do with like your community and people around you. And it's not something you're gonna have a hard time. It's just people are gonna have a hard time with it. It's just because you, like I said, you are transforming a lot of aspects. You are completely changing. And it's not that people are going to have a problem accepting the change. It's more as the fact that they're going to have a problem accepting their place in your new current life, if that makes sense. Because the way you are transforming, the way you're changing your life is just that they're not going to feel comfortable having to shift their role in their life, in your life. Like the role they play in your life is going to have to shift, and they're not going to be comfortable with it 100%. But for you, you're kind of just like, listen, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm moving. I have to do this. This is how I need to do it. If you support me, great. If you don't, then that's okay as well. And you have this kind of open hand concept of like, if you want to stay, stay. If you don't want to stay, you're free to leave. I'm not keeping anybody here against the will. I'm not asking you or begging you to stay. If you feel like you can stay with me, please do. If you don't feel like it, then please leave. It's like you're very much, you don't have any like strong attachments in a sense of like yes, you have very like emotional connections with people and very strong relationships, but it's not like, but you don't have an attachment to the attachment. You're very much in this space of mind where it's like, what is meant for me will stay, and then what is not meant for me will leave. And so you have complete trust in that. It's just other people might gonna have a little bit of a difficulty accepting that, and difficulty adapting to that. But like how you've said to yourself, what is meant for me will stay, and will leave. But yeah. Okay. What actions are needed? What actions are needed for this next phase for Gemini? Jesus. Clumpy McClumpter. 5 cards. Okay. Karma, King of Wands, the Empress, Queen of Cups, and the Tower card. All right. So the actions needed for you. So take what resonates and leave the rest behind. Again, this is just a general reading. So if you find things aren't resonating with you, then you have the free will and choice to click off. But for those who do resonate, with these cards, for the actions that are needed for this next phase for you, Gemini, um, I feel like you're really already on top of it. I feel like you don't even need me. Because like the cards are telling me like yes, this is like what you need to do, but it's also giving me the energy that you already know this. Like you're already 10 steps ahead because you have spent so much time in this planner hermit energy. Like you've already figured shit out. So I don't even know why you're watching me if you are. I guess just for confirmation that you're doing the right thing because you are, but the actions needed very much. You are letting, like I said, you have given up control completely. You have released relinquished control. You have relinquished. That's why the energy wasn't really so strong in manifestation, really, because you have literally have just given it to spirit or to God or whoever you believe in. You have given it. You have given up control to a higher source. You literally have stated like like what needs to be will happen and what doesn't need to happen will not be for me in this course of action. It's like you, for one, you have already like I said, you relinquish control, so it's not like you have to do that. It's not like a required action you have to do anymore because you've already done it. I guess just continue doing it. With the Empress in King of Wands energy, it's more of just that determination and that stick with it kind of attitude. It's that self belief. You have a very strong self belief in this action course of action, because you know this is what is best serving you. It's just trusting that what you're doing is best serving you, and you've already you've been doing that, and just continue doing that. With the Queen of Cups and the Tower moment, you're not fighting anything either. You're not fighting any of the negative things that get brought up with this, because with this kind of journey, where you have this journey of where you're doing deep introspections and deep, just cataloging all the aspects of your life and what you've done so far and what you want to do, what you want to do in the future and what is happening in the present. You have cataloged it all and have processed it all and have thought and felt everything emotion. You're not just stuck in the logical mental space of like just thinking through your emotions. You're also feeling through your emotions. And so you have, because you have allowed yourself to feel these emotions, it has been easier for you to kind of make these mental connections of what you need and what doesn't, and what you don't need, and kind of like who you need to be and where you need to be. And you have made it easy for yourself to kind of relinquish the need of wanting. You no longer want for things. You just have that knowledge of of what belongs to you, right? Because when I say need, I don't mean it as like a neediness or in a way of like, again, of coming from a place of desires and wants. When I say need, it's more of a sense like it's you knowing who you are, and it's you knowing what steps you have to take and what actions you need to take. And so need is mainly coming from a place of just action. When I say need, it's coming from a place of knowingness. It's like it's like when you bake a cake, you need eggs, you need the milk, you need these ingredients. It's not because you want these ingredients, it's just because you literally need these ingredients to make that cake that you've already seen in your mind. That's the state of being. And so a lot of these actions that you need, you've already have done them, or you've already kind of realized that this is what you need to do to be able to procure and accomplish what you have already seen in your mind's eye. Okay. What is something that needs to be understood about this next phase? What is something Gemini needs to understand about this next phase? Okay, with the High Priest. Okay. Give me an extra clarification card. Or unless that's just the message you want to give. Okay. All right. With the High Priest card, something you need to understand about this phase, Gemini, is that is very much you very much have ascended with this. That's okay. That's the energy why it's like this. Because I'm sitting here feeling useless with this reading. I'm like, why am I saying all this? I feel like they already know it because you do. But this is the next phase. Okay, what you need to understand about this next phase is that you have really touched your higher self, and not only have you touched your higher self, you have connected with your higher self, which is why you feel this need or have felt the need to transform everything, because it's like you not only have you been able to connect with your higher self, you are now becoming your higher self, if that makes sense, right? It's you reaching a whole new level of ascension. It's you reaching this whole new level of enlightenment that that a lot of people have spent their whole lives to reach, and that you haven't been able to reach it now. And that is something that deserves a very well deserved congratulations, because that is a lot of hard work that you have been put into just to even reach to this point where you feel comfortable enough to take these actions, right? Because even for myself, like I'm still kind of like in this area of like hermit mode of trying to figure out who I am, and trying to figure out of where I need to be and who I need to be and what best serves me, and still working on that part of relinquishing complete control to spirit. But for you, you've already done that. You've already done the trials and tribulations of that, and now you're at the stage where you are comfortable enough to take that, just to take the actions, just to take the movement, just to be guided completely and 100% by higher source and by your higher self, to be able to meet your higher self, not even meet, just to become your higher self. And so that's really dope. Congratulations, Gemini. All right, what is a message from spirit? Message from spirit. All right, with the eight of sword. Yeah, okay. What spirit wants you to know, though, it is not the end of your journey. Reaching this higher self part is not going to be the end. You're still going to have a lot more trials and tribulations and kind of growth moments, but it's still saying do give yourself the credit, but do not also get too comfortable in this next phase either. Because it's like a ladder. They're giving me the image of a ladder. You have reached the next level, but there's still more levels for you to conquer. So do not forget the lessons and the actions that you have learned in this next phase, because these are what you. How do I word this? Okay. I'm sorry if this comes out a little jumbled because. Okay. I wish I could just show you the inside of my mind. Okay, so all these lessons that you have learned, all these actions, right? About the relinquishing the control, about being in your self power, and about having that open hand policy when it comes to people in your life. Like all these lessons and all these little antidotes that you've learned about yourself and learned about life and through this journey are all necessary that you maintain them. Do not let it go, and do not forget them just because you have reached this next phase. These are all these, like, you have to really embody these lessons into, like, really ingrain them into your mental pattern, because you are going to need them for your next phase, for your next lesson, for the next thing that you have to conquer within yourself. um it's just spiritually stressing. It's like this is not the end of it, but this is still a very big achievement that you are reaching. But yeah, I hope you guys resonate with that. Please let me know in the comments down below if you did. It helps better connect with your energy. Feel free to like and subscribe. I do offer personal readings. I left the link down below in the description box. But all in all, I really, guys, just hope that you enjoyed the reading. I feel like I told you things that you already really know. But regardless, I hope that you were able to just take something away from the reading, even if it's just a little bit of entertainment. But yeah, as always, thank you guys for the support, and I'll see you guys for your next reading. All right, bye.